Good morning, everyone, and happy Independence Day weekend. I have a hard question that I'd like to ask you. How do you feel about your country right now? I know not everyone feels really good. I read online someone who just about a month ago said that we're in a pervasive pandemic of racism that grows each day. Now, that's a drastic statement, and there are many drastic statements online, but this one's a little bit different because it comes from a bishop in the United Methodist Church, and I believe it was a statement supported by a majority of our council bishops. Now, I think the next question to ask is, well, what can we do? What can we do as a nation and as an American church to show that we care about peoples of African descent? And I have an answer that might sound a little bit radical. What about we take 10,000 people from the continent of Africa, people in the worst situations, the war, the persecution and poverty, and we bring them here, and we furnish apartments for them, and we pay for those apartments for a few months' rent for them, and give them employment counseling through Christian organizations, and we enroll their kids in school and give them extra help with extra English teachers and summer programs, and for any member of the family who's still suffering effects of ill health, we pay for their medical care. And then if they prove themselves to be good citizens in their local communities after 5 years, if there's no felonies or major crimes from their families, we allow them to become full-fledged citizens, just like us. Do you think that would be a good idea? Do you think we should try that? Well, the truth is, we already do that every year through the United States participation in international refugee programs. It's surprising that you don't hear about that often. I wonder if the people yelling and screaming in the streets in the month of June had even heard about the 10,000 or more every year that come from Africa. And then I wonder, is it their fault? I mean, you don't hear it on the news. Ephesians is a book where Paul says that Satan is the prince of the power of the air. And I sometimes wonder if nowadays he's also the prince of the power of the airwaves. But I didn't ask Pastor Josh for time to talk on the worship video to complain about the media. And I want to make clear that even though I'm very, very happy to see what we do with the refugee program, it doesn't negate the fact that we still have work to do. The statistics that Pastor Josh quoted in his email a few weeks ago are a very stark reminder of that we need to pay attention to. But I asked him for this time because I've had a chance to volunteer with some of the Christian refugee resettlement organizations, and the majority of the resettlement organizations are Christian. I had a chance to volunteer with them in recent summers, and I've learned some things that I want to share. I've been reminded of just how amazing a place this country is. It's still the place that people run to. And even though we complain a lot, and I am one who also complains, it's not a place that people run from. It's a place where people have their hope restored, where they find hope again. Now, when they do so, they don't jump up and scream, "I found hope," but they show it in small ways. Last summer of 2019, I gave a girl and her mother a ride to the Children's Hospital of Atlanta. The girl was 7 years old. Her name is Divine. She's from the continent of Africa. She came here at 5 years old, but her troubles weren't over just because she made it here. She was fighting a cancer battle. She ended up losing a part of her arm, maybe up. She lost her hand and maybe up to about right here. But by the time I met her and was giving her this ride to the Children's Hospital of Atlanta, she was in remission. Her hair was growing back in. She was smiling at everyone. She knew that she was on the back end of this battle, and everyone was smiling back at her because she was a very, very sweet girl. And as we were filling out the forms at the beginning, I was helping because her mom doesn't read and write English very well. You have to write down the date of birth. And again, this is summer of 2019, and I said, "Divine, what's your birthday?" And she said, "March 14th, 2020. And at first I said, "No, Divine, that can't be right. Your birthday can't be in the future." And I talked to her mom. We figured out what year she was born. But later I thought that's one of those moments. Because a girl who's afraid of dying doesn't talk about her birthday in 8 months. And I wish those stories could be shared a little bit more. And I wish it's what I saw on the news. And maybe there's 10,000 stories like that every year in our country. But I'm trying to focus not just on what I want to see from others, but what I need to see from myself. Sometimes I watch the news, I hear what people are saying about the country, and my heart is like a lion that wants to roar. But the Bible talks about a day when even the lion will lay down with the lamb, and a little child shall lead them. And now as we enter the 244th year of our country's history, my prayer for myself is that when a little child gives an example worth following, such as a child who had to come thousands of miles to find a safe place to live, such as a child who, even after that, had to go to dozens of doctor's appointments, have a surgery, lose her arm up to here, miss most of a school year, if such a girl as that can find hope here, can feel hope in this country, then why can't I? My prayer is that when a child leads with that type of example, that I will have a heart humble enough to follow. I ask that you pray for me to be able to do that in this new year of our country. Amen.